Is everyone ready? Should we get cracking? Yeah? So obviously we're here today with Ash in support of the Herefordshire Veteran Centre to talk about his most recent charity fundraiser and an announcement for what he's got going on. As always, thanks to HR4K for letting us use their facility and supporting the Veteran Centre because they do such a good job over there. All the staff at Hereford Veteran Centre do an amazing job in support of our local veterans. So these are great little talks to try and raise awareness. So, Ash, what are you up to? Who are you? And tell everyone a bit about yourself.
In a nutshell, I live a mile away from here, and I love coming here for coffee. So, what a perfect opportunity to come and have a coffee and talk to everyone about my endeavours and how I've got to this point from zero to, let's say, hero.
Yeah, let's do it.
I work for Help for Heroes, as you can see by the banner. So I say zero to hero because we are all heroes, aren't we?
Yeah, awesome. The way I like to start these is really to find out what drew you to the military in the first place. You've got to start at the beginning. So why did you join the army in the first place?
So I grew up in the Midlands, and my father was in the military, uncle was in the military, and a few other family members had been in the military. And we always used to, and this was back in the day with no phones.
The good days, the good days.
We used to go and play army because nobody ever goes and plays navy. So going to play. That's
true, actually.
It is true.
It's actually true. Yeah.
I'm looking at one man in particular. So used to play army. I used to live by a place called Cannock Chase, which is a huge forest, and most people would play with sticks and stones, and they'd wear their normal clothing. But oh no, we would do it properly. Because my dad was airborne and his brother-in-law was airborne, we'd have the full Paris mock, full DPM gear with a maroon berry as well, which was quite cool. But leaping forward a little bit, going to school, I had quite a difficult time. I wouldn't say I was bullied too much, but there was a lot of name calling and sort of being picked on a lot. You know, I don't think it was as extreme as bullying, but I used to run home from school every single day at lunchtime, thinking, you know, I'll run home to mummy and everything will be fine. My mother was quite harsh back then. You know, I thank her for it now, but she'd grab me by the ear roll, throw me in the car, and drive me back to school and drop me off at school. So rather than you know, having what I wanted of just getting away from it and running away, essentially that's what it was running away from the trouble. I was forced back into it, and I think that did give me a bit of a grounding and a bit of resilience, and that went on for the whole of senior school. And I wasn't planning on joining the military. I went to a careers office with a friend of mine who wanted to join the army. He ended up not joining, and it sort of planted that seed for me that maybe that's something I wanted to do. So I walked in the careers office and said, I want to join the parachute regiment, just like
they
my
all
dad.
do. I want to jump out of planes.
Yeah, and the guy looked at me and he went, no you don't. What interests have you got? I said, well, I love driving a car. He said, well, what about driving tanks? So that was it really, and it turned out the guy that recruited me was in the Queen's Royal Hussars, which is the regiment that I joined, which was quite a common theme back then, that you normally join the regiment that the person recruiting you is trying to get you to join for a little bit of a bonus.
Do you think they funnel you in that direction?
Definitely.
Okay.
I do take it as a compliment that he thought I was good enough to join his regiment, but in reality it was probably because he was getting a bonus.
The more you sign up, get him through the door.
Yeah. So, that was my introduction into joining, and I remember a few times because of the way I was at school and kept running away. A few members of the family sort of said, "Well, you won't succeed to anything. You're not going to pass basic training." But that was a tactic to spur me on. Yeah. And I've had a conversation with a person that said that since joining and being in for quite a while. And he's adamant it was a
go get him.
That was there, yeah.
Go get him.
So, and it worked.
What was your favourite part about being in the army, like in service?
I think the adventure training is the one that that gets everybody, I think. You get paid to go skiing for 9 months. You get paid to go and jump out of aeroplanes, get a mountain bike qualification.
Yeah.
You know, all these things that you can do as a civilian, but you'd have to pay for it.
Okay, so it's all given.
And in the military, you can just go and do anything you want to do, pretty much at any point you want to do it, and you're representing that regiment or that corps or the armed forces or the army, and you get paid more because you're away from home.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
It's cool.
So lots of benefits to it.
Definitely.
Did you, so you specialised in, say, what was the regiment you were in, sorry?
So I joined the Queen's Royal Hussars, which is a tank regiment, so Royal Armoured Corps,
Yeah.
cavalry as we call it. You know, we
Call in the
morphed
cavalry.
from horses into tanks. Of course, like everyone, the regiment you're in is the best regiment. We all say it. It's just the way it is. And you know, I often think now that I'm out and look back and think, yeah, I would do it exactly the same as I did, even though my career was cut short. I would definitely do the same that I did initially.
Yeah. Why was the career cut short?
Two reasons really. It's quite a long story, but essentially I did 6 years regular service. So I deployed to Iraq and Kosovo, and on my build-up training to Kosovo, I was bitten by a snake. And if I was to ask anybody here, where do you think I was bitten by a snake? What country was I in, and what county was I in? It was Norfolk in England. You know, how unlucky is that?
By an adder then, obviously.
We assume so, yeah. So basically, I was on an OP, just doing a bit of a training exercise, ready to deploy. Next thing I knew, my leg was about this size.
No way.
It was black. There was pus coming out. It was horrible. I was in so much pain, and I sort of went to the person in charge and said, look, you know, I'm not feeling well. Look at this.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You know, we've got to drive back to Germany, which was a 14-hour coach journey back to where we were based at the time. So I got on there, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. Got back to Germany to camp, and said, I really need to go to hospital. No, you'll be fine. Sleep it off. You'll be fine.
Walk it off, man. Walk it off.
And I was left there with my bags. Like, I couldn't walk. So
Oh, shit.
thankfully, somebody had carried the bags for me, and I crawled to my room, went to bed. And next morning, it was just agony. And thankfully, then there was an ambulance called, and that was it. I was in intensive care for just under 3 months. Nearly lost a leg, nearly died. You know, it was quite horrific.
Doesn't sound fun.
They've called it a tropical disease. So I was on a drip on my leg with all the pus coming out, and you know, once I woke, it is quite sad actually that when I woke up, first thing I did was phone home, my mother, and, you know, tell her how I'm getting on, and they assumed I'd gone to Kosovo. They didn't have a clue what had happened, and it was quite a shock to the system for them and for me. You know, I was only 18. You know, I'd never really been anywhere. That was the first adventure I was going on, and you know, from that day on, I'm pleased to say that the military now look after their wounded, injured, and sick very well.
Right.
So that was my unfortunate incident. So I am classed. I've got a disability on my left leg because of that, and that's an ongoing condition that causes me quite a bit of grief.
All from that one snake bite in Norfolk?
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that it was unattended for so long, if you'd been treated immediately and it wasn't left to fester?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, maybe. I mean, jumping forward a little bit now, for you know, I did quite a bit in the military from then until deploying to Iraq. But when I came home from Iraq, my eyesight started weakening, and it could be something linked to that as well.
Oh, no way.
We're not 100% sure, but I was diagnosed with an eye condition called keratoconus. Eventually, it took a good few years to get a diagnosis. And there's no real reason to say why it happened to me later on in my life. Usually you get diagnosed with that condition, you know, early 20s,
Okay.
Sort of teens. And for me, it was quite later in life, after I'd rejoined the military. So I did 6 years, as I said, and then left, and then rejoined again. and that's at that point my eyesight was really starting to deteriorate, and I mean it's still deteriorated now. Basically, keratoconus is a condition that causes blurred vision, sensitivity to light, a lot of pain, and there's no cure. It's classed as a rare disease, and nobody really knows where it comes from. There was a study in America that was done with Air Forces saying that it could potentially be something to do with anthrax poisoning or depleted uranium or something like that, but there's no proof. I might just be unlucky. It could be to do with a tropical disease, it could be something different, but it's...
And is there anything they can do to like slow it, or any pain relief or anything that works?
No, because mine deteriorated at quite a fast pace.
Yeah.
It went past the point of stopping it,
Oh,
or slowing it. And I've got to the point now where my left eye is completely... There's not anything else they can do with it, so I'm waiting for an appointment now for a potential transplant on the cornea. Again, that's only, I think, a 50-50 chance it'll work, so essentially that left eye is
better than
pretty
no
much
odds,
gone.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So what are your main coping mechanisms for this?
Keeping myself busy.
Okay.
If anyone follows me on social media, there's always something going on at any point. I'm fortunate enough to have a great family. You know, I'm married with 2 lovely children that keep me busy. We've got animals. I do lots of other things through work, volunteer for a lot of other things, and just keeping myself completely occupied to really to help other people as well. Because, I mean, when anybody's diagnosed with anything, what's the first thing we do? You go on Google, Dr. Google.
No, WebMD or something, isn't it? Is that the one?
Is it? What's wrong with me? What's going to happen? Yeah. And I found myself on this self-help and support group on Facebook. And, you know, fast forward a few years, that was pretty much me supporting others, because I've done quite a lot in my life in terms of sport as a coping mechanism. It's basically people saying, you know, can you go swimming with this condition? Well, no, not really, because you could get an infection which could cause more complications. So it's me giving recommendations of the goggles that I used when I did my first triathlon, and things like that. You know, just little things like that could help somebody who's 18 that's been diagnosed and go, oh, well, that's it. You know, I can't do this, I can't do that. But actually,
you can.
If you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. You know, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So my second stint in the army was part of the full-time reserve service on a separate contract, so I was non-deployable.
Okay.
So I worked at the hospital in Birmingham, part of the Royal Centre for Defence Medicine, supporting wounded, injured and sick veterans and service personnel. And then down here in Hereford, I was part of the recruiting group, recruiting people into the military. And it was because I was non-deployable, I had a bit more scope for doing adventure sport and various other things. And because I've been diagnosed with a tropical disease on the leg and the eyesight problems, it opened up a lot of different recovery sports that I could do. So I was able to go on an expedition to the Arctic.
Oh, no way.
And sort of document my story and test. So I wear specialist contact lenses in each eye. So there's 2 lenses in each eye at the moment. One's a soft one called a bandage lens, and there's a hard one on top for vision, to help me see a bit better. And part of my thought process of doing all these sports was, yes, to test myself, but to prove that I could still do things, but also to help other people with these lenses. That can you go to the Arctic wearing these lenses? I mean, the answer is no, because they completely freeze.
Okay.
And they
well, now
just
you know.
disintegrate. Yeah. You know, I managed to go on a battleback ski course to learn how to ski,
Cool.
and then that turned into going on a complete race season, where I was essentially hurtling down a hill at I think 75, 80 mile an hour. Pretty much completely blind, because, you know, as part of that, you don't want your lenses in because they move around a lot and hurt a lot. So you just leave them out completely. You know, my blurred vision would see probably 100 of you in front of me.
Yeah.
So imagine that on a ski slope, where, you know, the colours of the snow,
it all
the
blurs into one.
It's all just one big thing, and then all of a sudden there's this patch of red or yellow or whatever it might be, depending on where you are. So they give you a ski guide. So there's a guy in front of me with a headset on. I had a headset on as well. And he's basically shouting orders at me of where to go. So hurtling down the hill at speed, just to prove you can do it, you know. And I think it's a really, really good way of doing things. And we're pleased to say we got the Inter-Services Gold medal there, and that was pretty good.
No way. So that's against like the RAF, the Army.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
well.
there was only, I think, 5 or 6 people within they call it, it used to be called the Combined Services Disabled Ski Team.
Right, okay.
Now called the Armed Forces Para Snow Sport Team. And they were very much race focused back then. And it was just a wonderful experience to just be able to go and, I mean, essentially living like an elite athlete.
Yeah,
you know, it was. My wife thought I was going out la skiing and just drinking, but
beers in the evening.
Well, we weren't really allowed or encouraged to drink at all, and I don't drink because alcohol dries the eyes out anyway, which means that things don't work. So, I think the only time we had a bit of downtime was when we went sledging,
Okay.
and there was a few of us went sledging, and it felt like, because you're low to the ground, it felt like you're going faster than you were skiing. How we didn't all break necks and backs on that day, I don't know. But you've got to have a bit of downtime.
You do have to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it was really good fun.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, I was asked by the Keratoconus groups that I was part of to publish it and write a book to support other people.
Oh, cool.
So it really, I mean, I used to run home from school, Reading and writing is not my thing. So publishing a book was really quite something.
Yeah, that's very special.
And it's a short book. The writing's quite big, so people with my condition can
Cool.
read it.
Nice.
But it is, to say I'm a published author is
that's
cool.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm taking away from this is you've used your experiences and pushing yourself and getting yourself out there in order to help other people.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about, like, if a young lad has got this condition and you can show him, it's not a death sentence, you can go ski, you can do all of these things. And it shows people the way a little bit. So this charity organisation stuff you do, so how did you get involved with like Help for Heroes and the Veteran Centre? How did that come about in your path?
When I finished the recruiting job in the military, it was the end of the contract that I was on, and you have a final medical and they sign you off, and you can either go on a different contract or you can finish. Unfortunately, due to my eye condition, that was unfit for further service. So, not medically discharged, but not medically able to continue what I was doing. So 14 years in total in the military, completely came to an end. And it really hit me quite hard. I wanted to serve for as long as possible.
Yeah.
I still do it now if I could. And I really, really struggled with that transition. I thought initially that, take it as a bit of excitement, a fresh challenge, do something new. So I applied for a job as a telecommunications engineer, got the job, went on a training course with a lot of ex-military on there, so it was really good. And when it came to doing the actual job, you can imagine getting a little copper wire and putting it into the little recess it needs to go in. With my eyes, there was no chance of that at all. I say it all along, I'm fit to drive. I can drive a vehicle most days. There are days that I can't. And that's on me to determine if I'm safe and able to do it.
Yeah.
But something that small, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that was the first time there was something that I couldn't do. And it really hurt. And again, I wanted to run home like I did back at school. And I thought, how am I going to do it?
Yeah.
So I sat in a van, had a works van, and was thinking of ways to get out of work. And there was no suicidal ideation at that point. It was a case of, if I crash this van into this lamppost or into this brick wall, it will write the van off. I might injure myself, but I can go home.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to do was go home to my family.
Wow.
And I didn't do that. I burst out crying at the thought of it.
Yeah.
And in my mind now, I know exactly where it was. And there was a lay-by there where I pulled in, and I was crying my eyes out. I phoned my mother, who said, right, go home, speak to my wife, and go and see the doctor and get the support. So I did that, I started that, and they signed me off sick and said, look, you need to think about a different career. And this was over a few months. I thought, well, what could I do? And I look back in the military, and recruiting was something I'd done, I've been quite good at.
Yeah.
So I went to do a recruiting job, and it was awful. It was target driven, which I was not used to at all. I was man managed, which I, you know, for the sort of previous 8 years to that, I was pretty much doing whatever I wanted in the military, you know, running my own sort of diary and everything else. So it wasn't anything I was used to at that point, and I hated it. Yeah. And one day I found myself on a 3rd floor window ledge, just looking down, tears streaming down my face, not having a clue what I was doing. And to this day, I can't remember climbing up there. Can't remember why I was there. Don't know what I was going to do. But thankfully, there was a nice guy there that put his arm on my shoulder and said, right, look, let's go and get a coffee. And we went off for a coffee, had a good chat, and decided at that point there was no way that I could do that as a job, and I needed to completely reset my whole life. You know, that was quite a traumatic thing to talk about and to tell my wife that had happened. And the support I got was from Help for Heroes. They were the charity that supported me a lot. They sent me on sports recovery courses. I had therapy with them. I was assigned a case manager, which is the job that I do now. Cool. So I've sort of gone full circle from being the beneficiary to somebody that works for the charity, supporting the people that were in that position. You know, and my grandparents used to always say things happen for a reason. And I think because I've been in that position, it wasn't easy by any stretch, but by having those experiences in life, I think really helps me understand veterans and their conditions, and you know, it really helps me support them in a better way than if I hadn't gone through those difficulties.
Well, you've walked the walk, I guess. That you have the experience to help. You can relate to their experiences. How did you get in contact with Help There? Is that something you facilitated yourself, or did someone you know put you in contact with them?
It was through, well, family. You know, it was, you know, you need to speak to somebody, you need to call somebody. So that's, you know, simply by picking up the phone and going, right, I need help. That's the biggest bit of advice I give anybody. That's the hardest step, the first step. Once it's done, then you can move forward. And you know, I say it all the time, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Once you start that journey, you're on the way. So
you were blessed enough to have a support system around you that cared enough to say, okay, we'll contact Help for Heroes, and they decided to. And that's what I love about the Veteran Centre, is that for veterans out there that don't have a support system, that don't have family on the other end of the phone, there is somewhere that they can go to get support and to have the difficult conversation.
Definitely.
And it's absolutely huge. So that's why I'm here, because I love to help. Moving forward then, so you've started to do fundraising, and is that through Help for Heroes then? This is all set up through them, or how has this come about?
I've done fundraising for a good few years now, and I'm involved with a lot of things, as we've mentioned. And back, I think 7 years ago now, there was a conversation. I was working for a different military charity before Help for Heroes, and there's conversations about setting up the Veteran Centre. And I was really privileged to be part of the initial sort of management group, if you like, of people getting together just to discuss what it would look like, you know, how it would evolve. And all this time later, to see where it is now, it's just an incredible thing to see. You know, it really does change lives and save lives. You know, I think there's a good few thousand military charities all over the UK doing various different things, and every single one of them are doing good things. But by having them nearby, knowing what the people are like, knowing who they are personally, if I was to have a veteran that walked into my I run a men's mental health walking group each week. If I had a veteran present there that was really struggling, I've got the knowledge that the people at the Veteran Centre would welcome them with open arms. And by knowing people personally, I could take them in and introduce them, you know, and it's just an incredible, powerful thing that, I mean, do we need charities? Yes, we do. And the purpose of charities is to go out of business if they're not needed anymore. Of course But, you know, we need them. They're a lifeline for so many people. And Herefordshire is very fortunate to have the Veteran Centre, and they're just doing incredible things.
I guess in Herefordshire we have a high population of veterans too, based on the fact that we have so many camps here. You know, US Harold and Credon Hill, and so we're a military town. So to have these guys on our doorsteps, right in the centre of Hereford, is an absolute blessing for these guys. It really is. Let's talk about your most recent one then, because that's pretty fascinating. On Snurgle here, do you have the bike? Right there?
So I was part of Hereford's military festival last September as a guest speaker with a colleague of mine from Help for Heroes. And we sort of shared our stories, both very different stories, but both military stories. And I'd wanted to do a fundraiser for Help for Heroes because they've helped me. And obviously now I work for them, it was a perfect opportunity to join their annual, sort of flagship sponsored bike ride of the Big Battlefield Bike Ride. Something I've wanted to do a long time. And if anybody here knows me, they know that I do a lot of things, sponsorship-wise. Mm-hmm. And if I was to say I'm getting on a road bike and I'm going to ride 250 miles in France, they'd sort of wave me off and go, well, have fun. Yeah. So I feel that I've got to do something a bit more. I call it a bit silly, a bit stupid, by doing it the way I did it. So at this military festival, I decided that was my launch event. Spoke to Herefordshire Regimental Museum, got the battle dress here from the Herefordshire Regiment.
No way, cool.
Popped that on, spoke to the curator, Danny, who he's got thousands of artefacts from military times gone by. Yeah. And asked him if he had a bike. I wanted a bike that was around about a period for the Battle of the Somme, because that's where we were going for this ride. And I managed to get this bike here for a very reasonable price. We think cool. She's about 100 years old.
No way.
Yeah. I named her Snurgle. And I decided I was going to ride the Somme on this bike and wear this uniform. It turned out to be 45-degree heat for that week. So wearing the uniform probably wasn't the best idea. And the kit's there that you can see that, it is a very nice, quite apt kit. So I did wear the kit. I don't blame you. But I did wear the uniform one day. Yeah. So we went from Ypres in Belgium down through to Cambrai, which is the home of the tank, the birthplace of the tank, which obviously quite special to me.
Yeah, that's special for you, yeah.
So on that day is the day that I wore the uniform.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I thought it was quite a special thing for me, and we had a service there, and then took the kit off the day after and carried on the ride down to the Thiepval Memorial. The way they do these bike rides is just astonishing. It's open to anybody, if anybody wants to join it and fundraise. They normally do about 250 miles over 3 or 4 days. They've got their own historians. They go to different battle sites each time, and the historians are there ready and waiting for the peloton of bikes to get there. Oh, wow. And they do a service. They do various talks. We've got our own pedalling padre, who's a serving reserve padre in the military that turns up. And I've never seen a padre in full white clerical gear with cycling shoes on in my life, and that's quite the sight. So he's cycling with us. We've got our own team of doctors. We've got a lot of staff. I was there as what we call a staff rider, so I was there to support the fundraisers that were there to get up the hills and to keep going, keep motivated. So not only was I riding the route on this old bike with the uniform, I was also having to do the hills multiple times to go and support other people back and forth.
On a 100-year-old bike? Yeah,
on a 100-year-old bike. So fortunately, I only buckled the wheel twice. I only had brake failure once, and the gears didn't work all week, so I was essentially on a single speed.
In one gear? Yeah. I mean, what's it like riding that thing? I must get pretty saddle sore, because there's no suspension, front or back, apart from these little springs under the seat, which you probably can't see. But
I'm going to tell you a secret now.
Yeah, go on.
That this bike is a lot more comfortable than any road bike that I've ridden before.
You're kidding?
It's absolutely beautiful.
No way.
And I would ride that over a road bike any time.
Wow.
I mean, it's harder. The quads were really bad because of the amount of pushing you had to do with the gears. But the saddle was it's a 100-year-old Brooks saddle.
The leather's just worn in.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I mean, thankfully, we had our own team with us of mechanics. So they were pretty much my own personal mechanic team.
Nice.
Because obviously every day they were with me. So.
How long were you on the road for then, total?
3.5 days.
3.5 days.
So they reduced the route from 250 to 200.
Because of the heat?
Because of the heat. But because I was doing the back and forth, I think I did 2:30. So I was quite happy with that. To be honest.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raised a few
amazing stuff.
£1,000 as well, which is quite good.
Oh, dude, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And then, so I hear you've also got something coming up. Is this along the same sort of lines?
Yes. So Schnurgle the bike. This event was called Schnurgle to the Somme. I'm currently writing a book about it, and that'll be published at some point, hopefully soon. And the bike was going to get retired and put on the wall. However, I've got a plan.
Got a cunning plan.
Yeah, I've got a plan. So when I thought about it, really, she needs to keep riding. And I need to do something in Herefordshire. So I haven't told anyone at the Veterans Centre yet, but the day before Remembrance Sunday, I'm going to cycle on Schnurgle from Hereford, from here at HR4K. I'm going to go down through Rotherhithe, obviously the old munitions factories.
Yeah, yeah.
And then cycle to every market town in Herefordshire that's supported by the Herefordshire Veterans Support Centre.
Oh, awesome.
And then finish the ride back at the Veterans Centre itself. So it's about 100, 105 miles.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get it done in daylight hours, if I possibly can.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the plan. But here's the exciting thing: anybody can get involved, and I want everybody to get involved. You can either run alongside me, you can walk alongside, you can cycle with me. You know, for a certain little point, you know, if you want to do 5 miles, just get yourself sponsored for 5 miles and do 5 miles.
Oh, amazing.
If anybody would like to stop at any of the memorials in any of the market towns, then, you know, I'd like to get a photo at every single one.
Yeah.
And have a 2-minute silence at each one. So to have as many people as possible at those places will be good. I'd like local businesses to get involved, and other charities if they want to come as well. You know, it's open to everyone. And I just want to make it an accessible event. I'll be doing the hard work on that. So if anyone else wants to come along on even in a car, you know, just follow along in a car and whatever, it's fine.
Oh, this is awesome. Are you going to put out sections? Because I think I would like to mobilise some guys and come along, fly the flag.
Yeah.
Probably on motorcycles because I don't do pedal bikes. I like a throttle. But I think that makes, if you were to maybe, are you going to publish sections and you say you're going to go to every market town so people can meet you in the market towns? Yeah. And that will be posted online beforehand. So
there's got to be a bit of planning. I mean, this is just a very quick plan at the moment, but that's what we're going to do. So I've got to sit down with the Veterans Centre to see what they would like me to do, if there's anything specific in each town that they'd want me to do.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, we'll have a planning meeting. We'll basically whatever people want to do, they can do as much or as little as they want. Yeah. Oh. It's just welcome to anybody.
Fascinating. Awesome. So you've been doing a lot in life. So I see you've got these medals here as well, and you've competed in a lot of games and sport and stuff. So what would be your pinnacle achievement you would say that you really look back fondly on? Is that is something that I'm super proud of?
I'm proud of everything really that I've done. The most recent one that I'm most proud of would be so there's a superhero series event that's an adaptive triathlon, basically open to anybody with a disability. One of my daughters has got a disability as well, and she can't ride a bike, and she probably never will be able to ride a bike. And because I'm involved in the Invictus Games Foundation because of my illness and injuries, we were offered a spot in this winter series of the superhero series. And my whole family came with me. And we did it together, the 4 of us. And just seeing my youngest daughter on a trike, I mean, it's a huge trike, honestly. It was just such a special day. I was on Schnurgle the bike.
No way.
You know, my other daughter was on her bike and my wife as well. But the best thing was seeing my youngest daughter riding a trike around Dorney Lake down in the south. It was just incredible, and seeing her get to the finish and just get this medal, it was just wonderful. It really was, and we're hoping to do it again at another point because it's such a nice thing. So
that the pinnacle is more pride in someone else's achievement more than your own. That's what I take away from there. Is seeing other people achieve something is almost more rewarding than achieving it yourself,
it's
potentially?
It's just so good to see people smile.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what it is they're doing, if people are having a good time doing things, it's just brilliant. You know, I've obviously got my own goals and aspirations.
That's good, we should.
Yeah, and I'm currently on the Team UK Invictus pathway at the moment.
Oh, cool.
For the games next year in Birmingham. And, you know, I haven't been selected yet, and I'd love to be selected for it. But, you know, if I don't do it, I don't do it. I've just met so many people on the way, and, you know, I'd always be really happy for the people that do make the team.
Yeah.
You know,
What's the criteria? Sorry to interrupt. What's the criteria for making the team? Is it time trial based?
No,
or
not at all.
or?
It's individual personal recovery based. And there's a team of people that make those decisions on who it would benefit the most.
Right, I see.
Which is a really nice way of doing it because, you know, if you were to turn it into an elitist sport, then it'd be the same people time after time.
It would be,
going for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've attempted it a good few times now and never made the games, but I've made so many good friends in the process.
Yeah.
You know, with all of it. You know, with the skiing, with the Arctic expedition. As we're here for the Veteran Centre, the Arctic expedition, I was sharing a tent with Sean Gain, the Veteran Centre manager. Right. Which is, yeah, I'm sure he'd say something different to me, but it was quite an experience.
Yeah, can we go into that a little bit? So what was it like going out to the Arctic then? You were in tents and stuff, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're in tents, yeah. Yeah, it was minus 35, and we were camping. but it was different in the sense that, you know, it wasn't a physical achievement because we were on dog sleds. So it was more about sort of routine of looking after the dogs, cooking the food, making sure you're warm, making sure the tents are up, you know, and that sort of thing. And it was really quite a harsh environment. You know, when you get water out of a well, you know, we're all that used to just getting water and drinking, aren't we? You either drill the ice or get the water from a well. By the time we got it back out, it was like a slush puppy. It was ice already. So, you know, having to make sure that things were insulated enough to be able to drink rather than stop every 10 minutes to thaw it out.
To thaw out your water all the time.
You know, my eyes froze together. You know, it's astonishing the resilience of people and animals. You know, certainly with the dogs. We were freezing. You get in a tent and you're there with a hot water bottle and everything, and I mean that'd freeze by the morning. But the dogs would stay out in the environment on a little bit of straw, and they'd just sleep there quite happily. And they'd be up again the next morning, round to go, and it was just incredible.
I bet the views, like the sunrises and the sunsets out there, were just...
The biggest thing was the Northern Lights for me.
Yeah.
So I've got a great photo of my tent with the huge green and purple Northern Lights above it.
Oh, wow.
And every time I put it on social media, people just think it's AI or it's fake, but it's not. You know, I took that on my phone, and it was a wonderful place. I'd love to go back. Yeah, definitely love to go.
I've always wanted to go. I see pictures of it and think, well, it's how desolate it is. You know, along with the desert. It's a desert, isn't it? It's just nothing there. So
they do a marathon out there as well, so I wouldn't mind having a go at that at some point.
You're mad. You're mad.
Well, you can come along.
I mean, I'll give it a go. I'll try anything. Yeah, I think what I'm taking away from all of this is just a life in service of others. I think I've noticed that you've obviously enjoy helping other people and being involved in these charity organisations, doing these fundraisers. You get a sense of purpose from that, because I can only imagine what it's like to leave the army and leave 14 years behind, leave a whole career behind, and finding something to do and find a sense of purpose and finding a tribe to belong to once you leave that. So have you got any more advice for any veterans that are watching or listening as to how they could facilitate that easy transition from service to civilian?
I mean, the biggest thing is it's not going to be easy. It never is, from whatever it is, whether it's service, whether it's been a teacher. I was speaking to a teacher the other day that found it really difficult after 20 years of being a teacher. You know, in any profession, it's going to be difficult for change because we don't like change. We hate change. And it's just embracing it, you know, and I know it's easy for me to say that now, but join a club, you know, join a walking group, join a coffee morning or a model club or something, just something that you enjoy, you know, do jiu-jitsu, if that's your thing. I'm not sure I'll be able to roll around the floor.
Oh, you'll be fine. I close my eyes a lot when I'm doing it anyway, so you'll be all right.
You know, just do something that you enjoy, and I think that's the the simplest thing
Yeah.
is if you're enjoying something, you'll forget about the rest.
And you said you had a men's mental walking health group. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I'm a director of Men Walking and Talking, which is essentially a peer support group for men who struggle with their mental health. I run the group here in Hereford. We normally have about 8 to 10 people each week that turn up.
Nice.
Same time, same place every week, and we just go for a wander.
Oh, amazing.
And it is as simple as that. And we've now got 90 groups all
wow.
over the country, and it's growing. I mean, massively. I've been involved for just over 3 years, and we had, I think I was the 16th group,
Right.
and we've grown that to 90.
That's huge.
You know, we'll hit 100 by the end of the summer, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just such a sense of purpose of seeing people turn up and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get people that turn up that have had alcohol addiction, drug addiction, that really benefit from the social aspect, just going for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it is going for a walk and talking, not necessarily about mental health, but you talk
just
about
talking in
football,
general.
talk about the rugby, talk about the potholes in Hereford. You know, that's probably the biggest thing that we talk about. But then seeing those people develop into walk leaders and putting on events and doing their own fundraising events and those sort of things, it really is quite an inspiring environment. You know, we get 8 to 10 people in Hereford. You go to the one in Solihull and they get 50 plus each week.
Oh, wow.
You know, and there's hundreds and hundreds of men out there just talking.
Yeah.
And it's just so good to see. You know, what would they be doing otherwise?
Well, that's it. Yeah, the conversation is massive, just getting out there and being in nature too. Do you have specific routes? You change the routes or?
Yeah, it depends on weather and people really. If there's somebody there with mobility issues, it'll be just a wander for half an hour around town.
Oh, wow.
Maybe get a coffee or a soft drink afterwards.
Yeah. And how do people find it if they just find on Instagram or?
Yeah, it's all Instagram, Facebook. There's leaflets all over in different GP surgeries at the hospital and various things. But there's a website. Just Google it, Men Walking and Talking, and you'll see it come up. And you know, we are very lucky in Hereford that we've got a lot of different groups. So you've got Andy's Man Club, Hereford Men's Mental Health Group, the local mental health services have got their own groups as well. And there's just so many other opportunities in Hereford. We are very lucky, veteran or otherwise. You know, we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to wrap up on before we get out of here? Because I know we're all conscious on time a little bit.
I'm just looking around the room now and seeing who's going to join me on this event. I know there's at least 2 people that are going on bikes.
Dom, he'll come. We'll get his motorcycle license. I reckon we'll get I think we'll get a tribe of motorcycles to come join.
Well, let's do it.
I think that'd be really cool. If we could all fly the flag, get some tops made up, and we can join you on a big section. You could be on this, and then we could all behind on motorcycles. I think that could look pretty cool.
Push me along a little bit.
Yeah, we do, because you do. You just keep putting your foot forward like this, and we'll just push you along. And that'd be fascinating. Ash, thank you so much, man.
No,
really
thank you,
good.
mate. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Do you know how that works? You know how that works?
Did you press play, did you?
Yeah. It was off.